Hello students, welcome back for the course of MBA Semester 4 International Human Resource Management, and today is our lecture number 7, 8 and 9, and the topic of our today's discussion is culture and determinants of culture. The primary objective of our today's session are to understand the concept of culture and determinants of culture. The contents of our today's session are culture, society, and nation. Cultural change and universals and determinants of culture. So in this session we are going to discuss about some further aspects of culture and how does that culture plays a very important role, particularly in international human resource management. So let us discuss about culture, society, and the nation. We know that we are living in the societies. Okay, these societies are nothing but the group of people sharing certain common values as well as norms. Okay, so we are living in the societies, and these societies are nothing but the group. So group of people coming together for their livelihood, and they are set up themselves in some particular localities, followed by certain group of norms as well as values. While we are living in some particular society, these societies would vary from nations to nations, means they will vary from countries to countries. People in these societies are bound by using some common culture. Okay, these socio-cultural values comes primarily from the individual values that has been adopted, or the norms which have been adopted by that particular society. So all over the world, okay, that different localities, okay, or in different countries, we do found different forms of societies, okay, that they comes together for their livelihood, okay, and they are being associated by means of using some common set of values and norms, and they were primarily adopted whatever form of values or norms, okay, and build up their own appropriate culture so as to live in the society. People those who are coming from different societies, okay, or different culture in these different countries, they need to appropriately follow these values or norms, and in overall they try to adopt the culture of the host countries. When we are talking about these nations or countries, okay, these nations or countries are nothing but the creation of the political entity. All countries, all the nations, okay, these are wherever we do find some appropriate forms of federal structures over there, okay, so as to implement the rules and regulations appropriately within the country. So most of the societies, okay, they do come organize and formulated some socio-cultural values and converted that socio-cultural values in the form of laws, okay, so as to live in the particular society. So normally these nations would vary from different rules and regulations as well as some sort of societal values or norms. When we are talking about this culture, society, and nation, the socio-cultural values will change from country to country, okay, maybe due to some internal factors that are being responsible within that particular country or society itself. So there will be some sort of change in the form of culture, and that change occur, okay, due to varieties of factors, and we do call it is a cultural change. So that cultural change will occur. How does the societies moves from one culture to another culture, from one society to another society, due to convergence of cultural change, and that convergence will happen because of, okay, the improvement in technology, telecommunication, the proliferation of media, specifically after the globalization in various countries, and as well as the operations of multinational corporations within these countries. So most of the advanced countries initially, okay, they do started the activity with respect to international trade with the nearby nations. So they started eventually the international trade related activity by means of using some form of export related procedures, and there was an exchange of goods and services with respect to other commodities by means of which, okay, the social norms and other forms of values has been transmitted from one country to another country. People would also try to migrate from one country to another country, and that could be happen in many of the ways across the world, wherever that will be resulted into the socio-cultural change in the society and as well as among many of the nations. When we are talking about culture specifically, okay, so culture is the amalgamation of that socio-cultural norms and values, okay, and how does it should be inculcated in the societies. So here the culture will represent the belief and practices of the group, okay, as well as the society that will represent the people who share those belief and practices. People across the world, okay, they move from one country to another country, and they do represent, okay, their belief, their religion, their social custom norms, values, and they will transmit all these values, socio-cultural norms from one society to another society, from one country to another society, okay, whichever they will represents. So when we are talking about the culture, society, and nation, okay, neither society nor culture could exist without each other. So we do have to practice, okay, across all the nations, okay, many of the countries, particularly for the livelihood of the individual groups or the societies, they do comes in contact with each other, and they do practicing and transmitting the socio-cultural norms from one nation to another nation, from one society to another society, from individual persons to the group, okay, and in this way they will exchange these socio-cultural norms and values across the societies. The another form of concept, okay, is cultural change and universals. So we do recently seen that, okay, why does the socio-cultural change happens in the society? Primarily, that societies will change will happen due to change in the socio-cultural norms, or which has been transmitted from one generation to another generation, from one individual person to group, okay, and groups to societies, and from one nation to another nation. So that socio-cultural values and norms in general we will call them as the overall belief system, and the overall culture will change. Okay, the socio-cultural values will change due to modifications in the societal values and norms, and that modifications will happen because of the innovations, inventions, discovery, or contact with some other societies. So primarily many of the nations, those who comes together particularly for the purpose of the international trade, okay, as well as societies, those want to connect with each other, and due to technological innovations, telecommunications, okay, and other forms of discoveries took place specifically in science and technology, that has been reduces the gap between the persons, and they comes in contact with each other. So some sort of socio-cultural values or the social norms, okay, that has been transmitted from one person to another person, one group to another, one society to another, and as well as one nations to another nations. Whenever people tries to interact with each other, okay, that forms the overall universals, okay, so that we can behave in a particular fashion within the society. These universals are called as cultural universals, and we do maintain that cultural universals across the various societies in the various nations. Whenever we are talking about this cultural change, okay, that cultural change will also happen in between the society due to the rising standard of living, as well as urbanization, immigration, okay, or immigration. Educational socio-cultural values can change primarily due to education and new technologies. So people are being exchanging various aspects, okay, during their overall life. Primarily their socio-cultural values and norms, and these socio-cultural values of norms will change over a period of time. Okay, people those are being migrated from one country to another country, okay, from urban places to city centers, as well as improvement in the facilities of education and availability of the science and technological goods, okay, that tries to overcome the barriers in the communication process, and people tries to behave in a particular fashion, and they do interact with the communities, specifically those are living in the particular society across many of the nations. So we do came to know that socio-cultural change will happen, okay, across three important points: the people, those who are living in the society; the tools and technologies, particularly that are being primarily responsible; and processes for what particular aspects they do want to interact with each other. So exchange of thoughts and values and socio-cultural norms would take place, and that means some socio-cultural change will happen among the societies. When we are talking about these universals, these are called as cultural universals. So these cultural universals are specifically some particular aspects of the society in what way that people would behave in a particular fashion. So here we were listed that seven cultural universals would be there across the world. Okay, we are primarily following this form of seven cultural universals, and these seven cultural universals would be material culture, art or artistic phenomena, recreation, economy, institution, language and religion that plays a very important role in building the appropriate culture within that particular country or nation. How do people exchange these values and socio-cultural norms? Okay, this could be happen with the help of these seven cultural universals. So these cultural universals are some particular aspects of culture, okay, in the various societies. Okay, we do follow these socio-cultural norms because of, okay, whatever form of cultural universals, these seven cultural universals exist on the earth, okay, that exist across the world, and that may primarily influence the different societies, the values, as well as the socio-cultural norms of individual groups and communities, or specially called as societies. Human societies, those who are in contact with each other, okay, they do try to behave in a particular fashion, okay, and that is one of the very important aspects of our individual lives. So that will influences due to interest in the particular form of aspects, okay, where do we concentrate, or where do we value our livelihood processes. So either it should be influenced by, okay, due to the interest in sports, some bodily adornment, okay, courtship, hygiene, gift giving practices, status and whatever form of taboos exist in the society. So we do came to know that we follow some particular dress code, or live with particular way of living, okay, so that we can fulfill our livelihood. So these are the appropriate forms of practices that can be implemented either by means of using the appearances, where we do uh, wear some particular form of bodily adornment, dresses, hairstyle, and the way of living, okay, and so on. Some particular form of activity where to concentrate on some particular activities, say for example sports, dancing, games, joking. So in overall society, okay, we are generally following some uh, social aspects of the uh, life, and follow these practices and exchange these practices across the many of the societies as well as nations. Even social institutions, say for example family, law and religion, etc., okay, this should be also governed by, okay, some particular forms of cultural universals. Maybe there is a change in these socio cultural universals, okay, across many of the nations, but we do normally follow some sort of practices where do we primarily found some particular form of way of living, okay, as well as we are using some particular form of practices, okay, by means of using cooking, folklore, gift giving practices, okay, and we do live in this society. So what sort of eating practices would be there across the many of the sessions, many of the nations, okay, that do comes under these cultural universals. So many countries where do we find that multicultural societies exist. say for example in India, US, or many of the foreign countries. So there exist multicultural societies over there, and that cultural universal uh, uh, will play a very important role across many of the nations. Now these are called as the determinants of culture. So these are the determinants by means of that we do live in the particular society and follow some practices across the nations. That socio-cultural practices will change due to these determinants. So we do find some important determinants over here. The first one is called as social structure. Second one is individual and group, that is a very important part of the society. Social mobility, religious and ethical system, language, education, and aesthetic values. So there are some other aspects that can be also related with the socio-cultural change in the societies. So some other aspects would be political philosophy of that particular country and economical philosophy. So where do the individual country gives the importance so that the society can move ahead. So each and every country they do tries to improve the standard of living of the masses, and they do plan their policies and other form of rules, regulations, laws, enactments, legislations, so as to promote the businesses, trade, okay, as well as exchange in between the countries. So we do came to know that the socio-cultural change will happen, okay, because of that lots of determinants. So here we are going to discuss about these determinants of culture. So let us see one by one. The first one is called as social structure. Okay, we are generally living in the societies, okay, wherever we do follow some appropriate practices. In our society we do find some particular form of hierarchies of the society. Okay, at lower level you will identify some slaves, okay, or some laborious class would be there. Some next to it some lower class, those are practicing some particular way of working. Some middle class people over there, okay, and finally the upper class communities. Now when we are living in this society, we primarily following some particular social structure. So this is the social structure of our society, where do different type of people living in this society, those are performing some different jobs, operations, or work. They have been normally lived according to some particular way of hierarchies. These hierarchies were developed, okay, and the roots are being rooted in the history of that particular nation, and people do generally come and organize in the society and following these practices. So this is called as the social structure, okay, and social structure means basically the social organization of the society. Where do people find a way how to live in the society, which form of job or work that they will perform appropriately and to be being a part of the society. So naturally we do find out that what is the relationship between in this group of individuals in the society, those who are the members of that particular society. So generally a social structure, sometimes it is called as relationship between the groups of individuals, those are living in the societies. We do call it is the distinctive or stable arrangement of institution whereby human beings in societies they will interact and live together. People those who are belonging to different culture, okay, or different societies, so they do try to comes in contact with each other, and they try to primarily for their livelihood purposes they do comes in contact with each other. So particularly for the well-being of the masses, okay, they are uh, comes in they are primarily coming in contact with each other, and they do find some particular way of living in the society. So it is either called as some distinctive or stable form of arrangement of institutions. Okay, in different society there will be different form of arrangement of these institutions. So higher class, middle class, or lower class people, okay, what form of job, work, or other activities that they will perform, that will be defined, okay, and they do perform that particular activity in some particular way and live in the society. So they do find a way of living in the society over there. When we are talking about this social structure, we are primarily thinking about two particular aspects that will be explaining the differences in culture. So, the first thing is what the degree to which the basic unit of social organization is individual as opposed to the group. So individual member, those are who are living in the society, they do define, okay, how to live in the society, which particular aspects are being important to them. So they are primarily the one of the basic unit of that social organization, individual person. Suppose whatever I will desire, okay, and whatever the societies has been expecting, okay, I primarily think over there, okay, and try to behave in a particular fashion. Similarly all other individuals, according to their needs, requirement, and whatever form of arrangement has been made in this social structure, they do find a way of living in the societies. As well as it will differ from degree to which the society is stratified into classes or caste. In many societies, okay, we do find some sort of discrimination, okay, on the basis of using some social classes. People would generally differentiate it on the basis of some sort of social structure parameters, okay, in the form of suppose say higher class, middle class, lower class people over there, or caste systems over there. And these form of caste systems or social classes would exist in the particular nation or in the particular societies, okay, because of whatever form of way of living in the society, and people do come together, they organize themselves and find a way of living in the society. This is called as a social structure. Next one is called as individual and groups. Okay, here individual means any particular person, okay, those who are being the member of the society, okay, that is called as the individual person. Individual person borrow some socio-cultural traits, follow some socio-cultural norms that exist in the society, and learn from the childhood. Even they will transmit these values and socio-cultural norms to the society from generations to generations. When we are talking about the groups, okay, groups means the social group, okay, it may be consisting of two or more people. Whenever they do try to interact with each other, and they will share some common values. So common values as well as socio-cultural norms whenever they will exchange, okay, they do form the activity, okay, by means of using communication. So here the social group will be consisting of two or more people who interact frequently and share a common identity and a feeling of interdependence. This is one of the very important aspects of the group. No person can live isolatedly, okay? They try to interact with each other, they will exchange the goods, services, or whatever form of livelihood aspects that primarily important to them. Depending on that, okay, they do find a way and communicate with each other. It is one of the basic unit of the social structure. First one is individual and second one is group. Group is very important phenomena, and analyzing the that social group would be a very important aspect in international HRM by means of identifying their individual needs, wants, and desire, and in what way that they are being representing in the particular society as well as the nation. So group is a basic unit of social structure, and an individual depicts a part of the family or representing the company. Whenever individual people comes together, they will form the group, okay, and these individuals are following the socio-cultural norms of the groups, and they do behave in a particular fashion, whereas individual person will be the part of the family, and either they are representing any particular company, okay, or even they are representing the group or even the nation. Both will differentiate in the different culture, whether we are talking about individual person or any social groups. They will be primarily differentiated on the basis of whatever socio-cultural norms and values that they were adopted from their existing societies in which they were grown up specifically. So we do find some different forms of group. We were listed here two groups over there: primary groups and secondary groups. Primary groups are initially they are very small, okay, whereas secondary groups are large enough. Particularly, they are representing the organizations. This will take relatively longer period of time for interactions because individuals are joining in this group, okay, and they will move from one ladder to another ladder or one stages to another stages of communication. Here relatively shorter duration of form of communication, and that could be often temporary, and that could be because of whatever the organizations requires. That's why they will come in on contact with each other. Once the work has been over, okay, they will move to the next way of aspects whatever has been assigned to them. That can be intimate face to face or some sort of association. So we do find individual form of communication would be there, okay, that could not be long lasting, okay, but they do comes in contact with each other. Little or social intimacy or mutual understanding would be there sometimes. People those who are living in some big groups, okay, those who are usually large, so where we do find a way of living in that particular society appropriately, and by means of understanding the mutual understanding between them, they do try to communicate with each other so as to fulfill the objectives of the organization. Here some sort of emotional depth would be there. Say for example, people those who are being highly bound to live in the societies, say for example family. So we do find some emotional depth would be there. People are being associated emotionally with each other to the relationships, whereas relationship generally superficial, okay, whenever we are living in the secondary group, because of the organization whatever they want to desire, they the organizations they desire, accordingly some specific kind of work or job has been assigned and they do behave in the appropriate fashion. Whereas individuals, okay, or smaller groups are very friendly, they are also very cooperative, okay, wherever in case of secondary group we do find some formal way of communication need to be maintained, okay, and sometimes there will be they will be impersonal. So whatever responsibilities has been assigned to some particular person, so they do find only that particular aspects and follow the appropriate forms of norms as per the needs and requirement. So individual as well as group would be one of the very important aspects of our society, and we try to improve the social contacts by means of coming together with each other and exchange the thoughts as well as values and social norms with each other. Social mobility. Now when we are talking about social mobility, people those who are the individuals, those who are coming from different background, different socio-cultural norms as well as values, we generally call them, they are belonging to different culture, they move from one ladder to another ladder in the society, okay, because of what, the improvement in the overall social structure, and many of the things are being responsible for the upliftment of that individual or social groups. So here we do find that, okay, it refers to the extent to which individual can move from one of the strata or class or caste in which they were born. So wherever the person born in some particular society, so say for example child move from one ladder to another ladder, okay, as compared to their parents, that is called as the mobility, okay. So people those who are belonging to one strata, say for example from lower class, okay, by means of acquiring the good educational and socio-cultural norms, the person can uplift themselves from one strata to another strata, okay, or from one class to another class. Sometimes people adopt these values deliberately, okay, particularly for the growth as well as for their own development purpose, or sometimes it has been forced by some particular group, so they need to behave in a particular fashion and move from one society to another society, and that is called as the social mobility. So this social mobility varies from society to society. People those who are living in the society, okay, at lower ladder, so they will move to the upper ladder because of socio-cultural communication, upliftment in terms of knowledge, belief, okay, as well as the education. So we do find some improvement in their overall living, okay, and they do move from one ladder to another ladder, that is called as social mobility. By means of that, okay, people comes in contact with each other and they do share their common set of social norms, values, belief, and various other things. Social mobility can be also defined as the division of the society into class, caste, okay, that will sometimes create the disharmony or some industrial strife. Sometimes it will create a problem, okay. And people those who are being moving from one strata to another strata, maybe that is the requirement of individual person so as to make their livelihood easier. In certain cases, where do we find that the suppose say labor management relations, management is always thinking that okay, labor are the cog in the machines and they do try to get done the work through these people, okay, and they may be exploited in many of the cases. Whenever labor raise their voices for their demands, okay, and they do satisfy their demands, so they can make an upliftment in their social livelihood, okay, so as to give the better life to their family members, okay, to their um, people those who are living in the surroundings, okay, and they do promote some different forms of culture over there. But sometimes in certain cases, okay, initially, okay, they do need to raise their demand, okay, wherever we do find some sort of disharmony, some sort of disrespect towards these people, and that may create some industrial problem of unrest, okay, across the societies in many of the nations. So here there will be different sort of social mobility. So there will be structural or individual mobility would be there, intragenerational and intergenerational mobility, horizontal or vertical mobility will be there, absolute or relative mobility there. So people would move from one society to another society once they will make some sort of upliftment in their education, socio-cultural norms and values. Okay, they will transmit it from one society to another society. That could be happen also because of sometimes somebody force them to move, or they will be pushed by some other societal members also. Religious and ethical system, people those who are belonging to these different culture, primarily we do find that they are following some particular belief system. This is called as belief system. Here, that the supreme belief system would be their religion, okay. So religion is one of the supreme form of people those who are primarily giving the importance, and they are following whatever they will believe in the particular societies or the religion that they belong. So here first of all we will see how that religious and ethical systems will work, so that their socio-cultural norm they will follow, and there could not be too much form of changes that could exist because of their strong socio-cultural values in this religion and the ethics that they are following. So we called religion is a system of shared belief and rituals that are concerned with realm of scared. People do follow some supreme authority by means of the existence of God, whatever that they will believe. Beyond that, they could not think, and whatever has been exist in this religion, they do follow and express the socio-cultural norms very strongly and communicate to further generations. Religion is the bedrock of culture as it influences the values, so a weak determinant of culture. When we are talking about the cultural change, that cultural change could not be happen due to strong socio-cultural norms and values because of people those who are belong to different religion, they do strongly believe in these values with respect to religion. So it is one of the bedrock of culture wherever people generally could not turn up to change their belief. Different religions send different messages in the given societies. So different societies are exist across the many of the world and they do follow some different religion. So communities those who are larger in number, mainly Christian, Islam, Hinduism or Buddhism that exist on the earth, and they do follow some appropriate forms of strong socio-cultural norms, okay, in the form of belief which which could not uh, permit them to do, okay, some irrecoverable work, and they could not think beyond that. It is the supreme for themselves, okay, and that could not be challenged by the other societies too. Ethical systems are nothing but the moral principles that could exist in the society by means of using following some particular form of values that will provide the guidelines to live in the society and so as to shape the behavior of the individual masses, those who are belonging to the societies. So we are seeing the different religion across the world. We do find that Christians are larger in number, okay. Similarly, the Islam community on the second, okay, and third one is Hinduism, okay. The third largest population would exist. Buddhism also exists in many parts of the world, particularly in China, and they do follow their belief, okay, due to religion and develop their own socio-ethical norms and communicated to further generations so as to follow these moral principles of the society. Most ethical systems are the product of that religion. So only by means of religion, most of the socio-ethical values are being governed. People do give the importance in their day-to-day activities and keep top of the mind, okay, that socio-cultural, religious and ethical norms, and they do always keep in mind that and follow some particular rules and regulations in these societies. Language. In many parts of the world, different languages has been spoken. It is one of the form of communication in that particular society. So either spoken or written or unspoken means of communication by means of using gesture that exists in the society, okay, and we do follow that particular languages, okay, in the particular societies so as to reflect its nature and riches. When we are living in these societies and as a part of the society, we do not feel isolated ourselves. As a part of the member of the group, we generally try to communicate with each other, and right from the childhood we will develop our own way of communication to communicate or to exchange our thoughts, values, or socio-cultural norms with other members of the society. So here we do find that there are many languages. Okay, even in India more than 32 languages has been spoken. All over the world there are nearly 5,000 languages that exist on the earth. But we do find that there are certain languages which are widely spoken. Okay, say for example English, that has been normally followed in certain major counterparts of the world, for example US, Australia, okay, and other many of the countries. Even India also, okay, Hindi can be a widely spoken language, but wherever in case of English, okay, we are also normally tries to speak in English. So even India, okay, can be considered as a English speaking countries. Some other countries wherever we do find some Northern America, in Northern America we do find English language over there. Southern America, that we do find Spanish has been widely spoken. Even Russia and other Commonwealth countries, that we do find Russian languages would be spoken across the world. Now, why such wide varieties of languages that exist in the world? Because people, those who comes in contact with each other, they do find either by means of using the body language or other form of gesture, they tries to communicate. They develop their own means of communications, and it was the need arises in these societies, and they develop their own form of exchange of thoughts and find a way of communication in with each other with the different societies. It allows a society to communicate and also directs the attention of people towards certain feature of the world and human interaction. This will make people to interact. Wherever we do not find feasible, particularly when we could not understand the language, we face a lot of difficulties and ask for the translators, because we could not understand that other language. People those who are belonging to this international HRM, and where do we deal with the uh, the expatriate, those who are belonging to different countries, and they belong to different societies, different culture, and normally we find a difficult we find some sort of difficulty, particularly with the expatriates. So it is quite necessary to develop some standard form of communication. In many part of the world, English has been widely spoken language. Okay, wherever we found some difficulty, we need to adopt the multilingualism criteria and try to learn about other foreign languages wherever we are working specifically in the field of IHRM. Even in many countries, more languages are spoken, and so distinguishes one culture from another. Say, for example, in India. In India, we do find there are more than 32 languages which are being spoken, and due to which the socio-cultural values will change. Even the countries, say for example, US, wherever people belonging to many countries, they do come and visits to the other countries. Say for example in US, so more than 3,300 languages has been spoken over there. People those who are coming across from different background, they will be migrated over there, or they came on visas over there, or visit to the countries. So from many counterparts of the world, okay, people they will go to these countries, okay, either for work or either for on the tourist visas over there. So wherever we will find out that many languages has been spoken over there. Whenever these many languages has been spoken, okay, sometimes initially we do find a difficulty in the process of communication, okay, and sometimes we need to go beyond the limits wherever we could not control that so multilinguistic phenomena, and we need to withdraw from the process of communication. Sometimes communication goes beyond the formal written and oral structure of the language. People normally they do communicate in their own languages. They do prefer to communicate in their own languages. Those who are not sound enough, they particularly those are not having some sound knowledge of another language, they do normally find the difficulties. So in international HRM, expatriate, okay, those who do not find those who do not have some sufficient knowledge of the language of the host country, they do find the difficulties to communicate with the other country members. It is called as a symbolic communication and depends on non-verbal messages. Even body language or gesture has been very important phenomena. So what forms that body language, okay, are in particular communities, okay, different form of set of signals can be transmitted with the help of body parts, and that would have different meaning, okay, different form of symbols which could not be understandable in many of the societies. So here some normal consonants has been useful wherever we do find some common form of platform need to be provided across the communities so that they can comfortably speak with each other. Wherever we do find in many of the countries, we generally prefer some particular language which are normally spoken in many of the countries, say for example English, Spanish, even Arabic, okay, Mandarin, French, Russian, okay, and in this way we try to learn some particular languages, those who are belonging to the field of IHRM. Education, it is one of the another determinant wherever we tries to learn and adopt the new culture right from the childhood. So learning and sharing of cultural values happens through the educational system that exists within the societies, and what form of infrastructure has been made in various nations that will primarily promote, okay, the socio cultural values by means of using teaching learning processes, and the kind of educational system exists in these countries. So education plays a very great role in transmitting the socio-cultural values from one society to another society. Formal education has been very much important to gain the skill to be productive in the modern society. Formal education has been provided in their popular languages mostly in many parts of the world, wherever people do generally improve their skills, efficiency, as well as knowledge, okay, and they will represent the these societies or we can uh, live in this society wherever we do find some modern tools and techniques, we how does that we can adopt and find a way of living in the society appropriately. Country's education system can be an important determinant of competitive advantage. Most of the countries that they were adopted the their educational systems, okay, and again the roots has been rooted into the history of that particular country. Wherever we are talking about, suppose say India has initially a Gurukul system, and since that Gurukul system, the socio-cultural values, norms, traditions, and other thoughts has been exchanged from one generation to another generation, and that can be one of the very important determinant. Education has been one of the important determinant in the socio-cultural values, and that provides a competitive advantage to many of the nations. So here do particularly in India, okay, the individual countries government, not only India, the also the different countries and their government, or whatever form of federal structure has been available in these countries, every country tries to promote the education and education system across the world, so that people tries to adopt some values, okay, whatever has been exist in their societies, and how to gain the knowledge by means of acquiring some new skills and efficiency towards them. When we are talking about education gives a lot of benefit to the society as well as the nations also. When do we do find that there is a good educational system exists within the nation, so it indicates the type of consumer market that are being available within that particular country, as well as the quality of human resource exists within that particular country, and that promotes the uh, way of transmitting the knowledge across the nation, okay, wherever people tries to give some sort of training by means of giving the employment within that particular country. Here finding an expertise in some particular subject, that can be found with the help of that what form of educational facilities and other infrastructural uh, amenities could be made available with that particular nation. Nowadays we were adopted e-learning systems in many of the cases, wherever this will remove the gap in between the communication across the world, wherever not only the socio-cultural values, norms has been came to know from one country to another country, from one person to another person, from one society to another person. So this will remove the barriers in the form of communication by means of using the education. For example, we are talking about Japan, okay. In Japan, workaholic phenomena has been exist across the nation. So educated workforce could be made available from Japan, and in many countries, okay, uh, the expatriate those are belonging to Japan or some highly advanced countries, okay, wherever good form of educational infrastructure even from India itself, we do supply the good quality human resource to the other countries, okay, whichever countries those who are being primarily working on outsourcing of this human resource. So many countries are being focusing on improvement of the educational system within their nations. So this could be one of the very important parameter for many of the countries. The last but not the least, aesthetics. This is called as the aesthetic values. People are giving some particular importance to find a way of living in the societies. These are called as the philosophical study of beauty and taste. Okay, we do generally follow our socio-cultural norm as a form of heritage or our traditions, religion, or whatever form of values that has been exist from the ancient stage. Okay, and that could be transformed to live in the society. So these are called as the philosophical study of beauty and taste. Some aesthetic values are very strong, and people do find to live in this society by means of following some particular way of living, either by means of using uh, their dress designs, okay, different forms, shapes, sound, or other things to convey the concepts or express the way of living into the society by means of showing things in a beautiful manner, or whatever that they will possess appropriately or which are of good taste specifically for individual societies. Societies, okay, that they do primarily work on some particular aspects wherever they express their means of feeling by means of using music, art, art, folklore, or architecture of the society. So, whatever form of dresses, whatever form of way of living in the form of different shape, different sizes, okay, or the way of expressions to themselves that can be reflected by means of using to express the things by means of using the beauty and whatever has been good to themselves. These aesthetics are nothing but the, so again, the cultural values. Okay, these are the special cultural values. The aesthetic of culture can affect the firm's marketing strategy, diplomacy, and management of human resources. People, normally those who are coming from different culture, okay, they will transmit these values to different societies. So wherever how to express the way of living for the individual person, that normally has been based on their individual belief system. So they do give some importance to color, okay, or some sort of worship, whatever they have been believed. So colors are often used to identify the brands and product differentiation that we will find out in many of the countries, because people are normally believing in some particular form of colors, shape, size, or other forms of attributes. Also, the management style would be influenced by various culture. Okay, where we do find some sort of difficulties due to multiculturalism parameters. So, in many counterparts, some sort of aesthetic values wherever we can express, say for example, for any particular person, how systematically one can produce their work that could be get believable by themselves, and they are expressing the things very appropriately and find a way of living in the societies. So that's all for our today's session. Thank you very much.